Good morning. Welcome, everyone, to the Blue Gamer Bluecast Morning Show. I'm your host, Adam Blue, 30 plus year video game enthusiast and industry analyst. And today, for May 13th, 2025, I'll jump to the latest gaming news, what I've been playing, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I actually haven't been playing much. I have not been playing much. There's been a lot of stuff going on this end. Yeah, I mean, actually, if we look at, let me pull it up. Look at the screen share. Yeah, it's the same thing. What I showed off yesterday, the 10th was the 10th, the last time I really tried a game. Wow. I mean, it happens. It happens, especially during the week. And then, on top of that, like if I'm not playing much and there's not much news, it's like gaming kind of disappears for a little bit. And that doesn't happen too often because I've been doing this daily thing, Monday through Friday for over a year now. And rarely there's those episodes where I'm like, I don't know, there's not much to talk about. I'm not really playing anything. It's weird when that happens. So what we'll do is we'll go through some of the latest news, talk about that, and if there's time, maybe just play a random game for fun. Let's start with okay, the Squad Busters gets gameplay overhaul and major update. So one thing, I've never heard of this game called Squad Busters, though I'm always intrigued when and is this not even on Steam? Don't tell me this is it's just an Android iOS game. I almost feel like I was duped. Interesting. Okay, well, let's read this real quick. The team building online action title fronted by a host of characters, because Supercell is, you know, a, a very cool developer. I would see them as doing things kind of beyond what the mobile does. But anyway, what I'm trying to get at is I always find it interesting when a game they go back and like, okay, we're going to revamp things, because every time that's happened that uh, I can't think of. I know Battlefront 2 was one, even No Man's Sky. Um, okay, it's been 12 months since Squad Busters launched globally. Team has learned a ton. Many months of experimentation while running the game. And that's always interesting too, because then when a game is being made and then like it releases, they're like, oh, wait a minute, this isn't the game people want to play. We got to change it. I always find that fascinating too. I guess because it's Supercell, that's kind of why they're covering this game. And it could be one of those that eventually goes on to console, because that seems to be another thing that happens a lot is, and look, like barely any gameplay. Do I have to, and this is just story. Why do I need story of a mobile game? Here, this is gameplay trailer. Wow, that's very hard to see. Yeah, look at all the menu stuff. It's when I see the mobile menu stuff, that's when I'm kind of okay. This website is like messed. Okay, let's do this. Supercell. Games. What games do we know? Brawl Stars sounds familiar. Clash of Clans is the mobile thing. What's Brawl Stars? No, that's not what I thought. Yeah, is it Clash Royale or Clash of Clans, the popular mobile game? I don't know. But to be honest, I thought there was going to be something else here. What else have I played by Supercell? Or that's very interesting. Let's see. Yeah, let's move on from that. Capcom reports 8th consecutive year of record profits as Monster Hunter Wild sells 10.1 million copies, which is so awesome. The game just came out this year. It's selling so good. It's so cool to hear Capcom have 8 consecutive year of record profits. That is really cool for them. Let's see. The series has now passed 100 million copies sold worldwide. The company also noted that the mobile title Monster Hunter now has passed 15 million downloads. I haven't even tried that one. Again, another mobile thing. Capcom is one of those companies that I respect them. They're doing, but it's weird because It's interesting. It's almost like Ubisoft. I also think Ubisoft is up there with Capcom. It's just that Capcom properties tend to do better, and I don't know if that's a mix of marketing, kind of the Japanese culture stemming from that, because I think both Ubisoft and Capcom are ones where they're really trying to make gameplay tight in their games. Um, but anyway, that's cool to see. Cool to see. Okay. Um, rumor suggests Horizon 3 launches in 2027 with online multiplayer title releasing first. So one thing, it's very interesting about the Horizon series because I've never found it to be fun, even though breathtaking to look at. Pretty interesting concepts. They just have always seemed to be behind, and sometimes I don't know how much that's just coincidence. Like the first one coming out at the same time as Breath of the Wild, the second one coming out at the same time as Elden Ring, which each game that it came out alongside with were very similar. Open world exploration, but they just did it better each time. It's crazy. So Horizon 3, I'm curious to see what they do with it, but I haven't even played the other two. It's just that multiplayer game is going to be coming out before then. I don't even know what to make of it. And even, we were talking yesterday. That's what's weird about this week. It's like I was talking about how there's these games that come out, but then they're just full of systems that aren't about the gameplay, that are about managing how and when you can play a game. And multiplayer games, slowly have that stuff seeping in. So I think what would be really cool is if this Horizon multiplayer comes out and Sony tries to do something where they're not trying to just make another multiplayer game, but hey, here's a Horizon skin. Like, I hope they really try to find something unique and different they can do. But it's hard to tell. We have no idea. Okay, Horizon 3 PS5 currently in development at Guerrilla Games, set to potentially launch in 2027. Could potentially be cross-gen title with PS5, PS6 launch. The story looks set to focus around Nemesis as teased. And I don't know what that is. That could be something that showed up in the third one or the second one or something. Anyway, we'll see. I still think it's a very interesting property. Sony in their IP. I don't know. And then I guess it goes back down to that whole thing where sometimes there can be an individual that wants to make something happen. And sometimes this individual could have a lot of power. They could be an executive. And so there's certain areas where a no isn't going to work, that people have to go with something. And Horizon could be one of those. All right. Fantasy adventure open world action RPG. Okay, so that was a lot right there. Fantasy adventure open world action RPG. Silver Palace is the name, announced for console, PC, iOS, and Android. Okay, so here we go. Multi-platform open world action RPG. Is this the same thing as Genshin Impact or what am I playing? Unwavering or wave? What the? There's a name for that. Anyway, it seems like this is because I feel like there is a loop there, a gameplay loop that can exist, and I guess it might be a matter of how is that world? It could be players are interested in different worlds, like Genshin Impact, the way it looked versus Wuthering Waves. Yeah, Wuthering Waves is more futuristic, urban, and this it's hard to say, but I think the other thing too. Oh, that's pretty interesting because of the car and the explosions. Wow, that actually looks pretty neat. But holy moly, yeah, look at all this. Interesting. I'm kind of getting tired of the anime character look because I almost feel like then they're all from the same universe, and it's almost like I want to see something a little more distinct. But anyway, I'm just interested in this because I feel like Breath of the Wild, Immortals, Genshin Impact, there is this sort of base open world exploration that I think can work fundamentally across a bunch of different games, but then it's a matter of what are you doing to make it unique. Wow, this has a lot. Oh, it's the different languages. Um, Real time. Okay, players can switch between characters in real time to unleash powerful skills and chain QTE. Yeah, that's exactly like the Genshin Impact, the Waves game. I guess the difference is like the time period this is taking place in, probably some little things here and there. So it's not out yet. Okay, well, I'd be interested in trying it. I guess it's just I like this idea of making these multiplayer open world action games, but I feel like stuff like Genshin Impact and Wuthering Waves, at least to me, leans too far into like the Japanese anime look. I would rather have more of a just a video game look, you know. Not that I have a problem with the anime character look, but I I guess just to really sell me in on the world, I would want something where the art direction is more related to a video game or that world. Because what they tend to do with these games is they have, the character look very anime look. Uh, but then everything else is like realistic Unreal Engine 5, and it just makes these things look the same. All right, so here's a big one. Stellar Blade Complete Edition launches on PC and PS5 on June 11th. PlayStation YouTube channel accidentally uploaded it early. Okay, they took it down from their YouTube channel, but someone grabbed the video before they did. Screenshot of the launch date. Features the PS5 version will have DLSS 4 and FSR 3, unlocked frame rate, ultra wide support, DualSense support with haptic feedback and adaptive triggers. A lot of times with these PlayStation games on PC, you need to have it wired in order to take advantage of that. Higher resolution textures. Not sure if this is also going to come to the PS5 version, which you would think it would, like PS5 Pro or something. Edit. New content for this version compared to the existing version includes 25 new costumes, a new boss, the Twin expansion pack, a Nikke outfit, which they make that mobile game of the same name, which maybe that had a skin in their game. I don't know. Anyway, Japanese and Chinese voice acting. So this is probably one of my most anticipated games of this year after, that Sniper Elite Resistance that came out. I played the demo on PS5, totally enjoyed the game. It's my type of, action and more of a linear experience, but still room for exploration. It's not like a full on, multiplayer title. So yeah, June 11th, and that's soon. So looking forward to that. That's for sure. Yeah, because the other thing I'm looking forward to actually, that's not it. Is Doom: The Dark Ages Standard Edition. I have the button here to play it, but we still have 1 day, 10 hours, and 46 minutes. And the reviews are very interesting for Doom: The Dark Ages. And again, I guess it depends when I play it, because the way that when I see mechanics, the way I see them and talk about them different from others, but the game seems to play different enough from the standard Doom to do its own thing. It's sort of adding on to the mechanics. It's interesting because I felt like Doom 2016 did a good job of introducing a new way to play first-person shooters. It's very specific to Doom 2016. Other games started doing it. And that is cool because the original Doom was kind of a revolutionary thing at the time as well. More probably in graphics, because really Wolfenstein 3D initiated that. But I just think it's cool that Doom 2016 was able to do that. By the time we got to Doom Eternal, even though I beat it, I don't remember that game. And then the Dark Ages, though, from what it sounds like, has enough new interesting things to add on top of that existing combat loop. So I'd be interested to see. Again, glad it's on Game Pass with all the things coming out on Game Pass. Man, it's pretty amazing. Okay, let's see if there's anything else. There's some more the news from the 12th, but Naughty Dog has been preparing Intergalactic Lead for More Hate. That's a horrible sounding title. boot camped in anticipation of online hate. It's so horrible that this has to be a thing. Um, yeah, I don't know. Though I will say it's pretty nice to be kind of given a boot camp over online hate. There's a lot of people out there that are just, online to be online, and then they'll make content and post it online, and then they'll get replies from people saying some really, really, really mean thing, but they're just some person in their house making content. They don't have a backing of a whole company that's like, oh, you're going to be putting content online. Let's help you navigate the toxicity that you're going to face. And I've gotten to a point where it still does bother me when I get, and it's mainly not here on Blue Gamer, just because it's not as big, but like on Gundam Explained, a lot more stuff gets thrown at my way, and a lot of times I think there's this online hate thing comes from multiple places. One, it could be just a vocal minority, and you really just need to ignore it. But when it starts becoming a vocal maybe majority, I think it's rooted in just a way maybe the consumers being addressed. I saw that a lot with Star Wars. Like, I felt like the acolyte hate was like way too much. But then I saw what even Disney was saying and doing, and it was like, okay, you're just trying to start a fight. And so I don't think Sony is the type to do that. So I guess what I'm getting at is I think it's cool that for these leads, especially that could be a female. I don't know if that's really that is the issue today, but having backing from a big company can kind of help walk through or work through the type of reactions you might get by putting yourself out there online, either creatively or yourself. That's interesting stuff. Okay. Sony finally adds Apple Pay support on PlayStation 5. I wonder if that has to do with the whole thing that's been going on. Or maybe not. I don't know. Okay. Oh, yeah, that's right. Remedy's Control spinoff, FBC Firebreak, enters closed technical test this weekend. The Alan Wake. So this game looks very interesting. It's just I'm always concerned when these games come out because so many of them come out. This is just a third-person PvE co-op game. It's not a... But it does all the whole like dailies, and then you claim your resources or whatever, and then do the next thing. It's even though it's 3 players and it's PvE, it's still the framework is a multiplayer shooter. But I think it's possible that you could play it and it not at all feel like it has any of those multiplayer gotchas or FOMO things going on. I would even say in Helldivers, and might be a personal thing, because Helldivers is that PvE game. And even I saw it there, you're repeating a lot of the same thing over and over. And then, the progression is really based on cosmetics. Yeah, I mean, I guess you do unlock. There's the progression where you can unlock new stratagems or whatever, which is pretty cool. But I guess there's that whole menu system around, oh, hey, the battle pass for the cosmetics. I feel like there should be another incentive for earning things in game that's not like the same thing. Like, here's a purple version of this jacket. Here's a green version of this jacket. That was the big issue with Halo when it first came out, because they didn't have a lot of content for the multiplayer. They were relying on people wanting to get the cosmetics, but it was just some basic stuff that didn't really matter. And I feel like a lot of these companies have leaned too far into the cosmetics because it's like, oh, we're making money, let's do the cosmetics. But then it kills the game at the end because it's not the game itself that's getting the people there. It's what's that carrot we can dangle in front of someone. Not the gameplay that's being like, if you have to dangle a carrot and it's not the game itself. Okay, and so that's another thing that this Firebreak seems to be doing well is if you watch the gameplay videos or look at what it's doing, it doesn't look like anything else. So it's already dangling something very different I was gonna see if there happened to be a video. Maybe I can pull one up. And then personally, so you come personally to me, and it's like, okay, would I play this? Well, uh, when it comes to dangling a carrot in front of me, like there has to be something substantial other than, okay, I'm watching this. This looks neat. I hate to say it, but it looks like any other, video game that's out there. When it comes to the sticky note stuff or like the control related stuff, I love to see that because, that does have that different compared to other multiplayer games. But is it going to see this stuff that we're seeing right now is very unique looking. This is the type of stuff that I think games need to be doing more. But I mean, is it going to last? Is the gameplay going to be? And here's the other thing too. Remedy is currently working on the remaster of Max Payne 1 and 2 for Rockstar. They probably got paid for that. And then they're probably then using that as a way to work on the smaller game in the meantime. Because this isn't their big game. I think they even said something about that recently to don't expect this to be a big game. So that's the other aspect of this. Okay, you're making a 3-player co-op PvE multiplayer game. There's a bunch of these co-op multiplayer games. What's going to be different about this? Well, it takes place in an already established universe. It has some very unique and interesting design elements going on we don't normally see. So really, there's a lot here that could work. This is not compelling me to want to play. Like when I'm looking at what's going on, it's okay. What's going on here that maybe I haven't seen before? And that's I guess, the issue at my age with all the experience I've had playing games. And this reminds me of Helldivers 2. When I saw the Helldivers 2 trailer, I'm like, well, this looks like everything I've ever played. But once you got in and felt the mechanics, the way that the animations were supposed to work in response to the input, that is what grabbed me. That's something that can't be felt through video, And so I wonder how many games there have been that I've just looked over because the gameplay I've seen that before, but how it's actually implemented feels different. So the other thing about Firebreak is I don't know. Let me search. I don't know if it's going to be free or let's see. Firebreak price. Okay. So it's going to be like a $40 game. They're doing the same thing as Helldivers. So this is kind of the same similar thing going on. You take a co-op experience, you give it I wouldn't say budget price, but a very friendly price. It will be on PC Game Pass and PlayStation Plus Extra and Premium. That's very interesting. So the game is $40, but it's going to be on all of the pass services, which tells me, Morgan, yeah, this is their purposefully like smaller game that's more aligned to their universe while they're working on, the Max Payne remasters. And it's going to be on Game Pass. Wow. Okay, and so this brings up another point. Because it's on Game Pass, and because this game, like I was saying before, to me, this seems just like, another multiplayer game. But because it's on Game Pass, I will then give it a try. And then I could fall in love with it. Avowed. If Avowed wasn't on Game Pass, I would have never tried it. And in fact, the way I played the game is not typical for most people. Third person, skipped all the story, just loved the mechanics in Avowed. And I would say Avowed is in my top 5 of the year. Even though I don't care to play an RPG or the dialogue or the story, just those multiple open world areas that you can explore and the way the combat system works, how you could do so many different things. It makes me want to go back to Avowed, So yeah, actually, let's change the subject because that's a good point. There are these times where I am not sure what I want to play. And there's multiple reasons to play a game. Sometimes it's a game that you want to play through to completion because maybe it's just fun in general and you just want to beat it and whatever. And then there's some games that are more like pastimes. Sometimes it could be a puzzle game, sometimes it could be a multiplayer game, but it's a game where there's not really any end goal. It could be like a meta goal, like progression, but there's not really like an end goal to the game, like you would move on from it. And I don't think I've ever been able to. Well, that's not true. I guess it really depends on the game because if I was to talk about when it comes to multiplayer games that I stick with over a period of time, both Battlefront 2 and GBO 2, I definitely do those. But other games I don't normally do that with. And I guess the other part of what I'm getting at here with that is, um, well, you know what? Hold on. Let me see if this. Let me see if I just happened to hit. No, okay. Because it says you could play right now with the premium edition. So could you? Let's see. Actually, I'm just going to see if it lets me. I don't think it will though. No. But anyway, so part of my thought process then is, should I always keep a game like maybe Avowed installed? Because while it's not a multiplayer game, even though I beat it, I could go back and get the other things. That's fun to do. It's always, and I was actually thinking about that the other day with Star Wars Outlaws, because sometimes when I'm playing games, the world of Star Wars Outlaws will pop into my head because they did a really good job of creating that world. That Outlaws open world, love it. But by having one of these games installed on the side, it allows me to get to it when I would like to. I think the cloud services help with that too, because let's say it's like a bigger game, but you just want to pump in and get some stuff done. You don't want to have to worry about downloading or installing, 80 to 100 gigabytes. So with the cloud option, you could have that background game that could be Avowed. I wonder if, I think Outlaws does that, but it might be through the Ubisoft Connect app. Yeah, so just thinking of coming in here, and I bring this up just because a lot of games nowadays, they take up a lot of space. And even with all the hard drive space I have, and when you have games that are, 90 to 100 gigabytes, it adds up, especially if you want a game that you just, play on the side every once in a while. So with this cloud option, it really allows you to jump into something, and I think I did that with Clear Obscure Expedition 33. I uninstalled it because I didn't think I'd be playing it much. Oh yeah, here it is. And then I think there was one time I just kind of felt like doing some quick time events, because with this game it's pressing parry at the right time. I just felt like doing that and just load it up in the cloud and play. I love how easy that is. Yeah. So let's see. Anything else? See, it says my installation of the Dark Ages is complete, and I can play it. But no, I can't. Anyway, I think that's about it. Again, yeah, not much with the news, or at least that I'm interested in talking about. Not much that I'm playing right now. And then it's funny because sometimes I'll look at like these free to play games, and there's that Disney Speedstorms, a racing game. Never even bothered with it, and that could be fun. Hydro Thunder on Xbox. I do feel like we live in a time where there are too many games, and too many games coming out, and even games I don't need to play. But I'm just fascinated by the industry or whatever, that I want to check this stuff out. So anyway, gonna head out. That was today's show, all. Thanks for watching. I will be back tomorrow some more, and until next time, be cool.